Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. Looks like our Brandon finally got his wish of canceling some student loan debt. There were some repayment plans that were based on paying a certain number of years, staying in a particular industry or something like that. I think I heard Dave Ramsey talk about it a few times, that if you worked for the government for some number of years, they canceled your debt. But there were a lot of hair trigger things that would cause the debt cancellation to not pay out. If you were late paying it by a few hours or something like that. And it just goes to show that this is not a new concept, right? The borrower is slave to the lender, right? But I thought I would point out something. A lot of people think that high college tuition is a new phenomenon, but in fact, tuitions have not risen in 120 years. Now, obviously, this is not tuition in US dollars. This is tuition in grams of gold. Relative to gold, tuition prices have been very stable over the last 120 years, right? So why is it that people claim that now we have a student debt crisis? Well, the problem is that your return on investment for your tuition, i.e. wages, have fallen off of a cliff during that same time period. We used to make about 3 grams of gold per hour on average. Is this average or median? Let me see. All the production workers' wages. Oh, the other problem is that the production worker, you used to not require a college degree in order to work in production, right? You could graduate high school and go to a factory. Nowadays, just about even a fast food worker needs a college degree for some bizarre reason, right? Because everybody has one, or you're competing. We're mass producing these things, and as a result, their value has tanked, right? That's what a lot of people don't seem to appreciate. This is federal minimum wages relative to gold grams. Now, some other things I want to point out. Let's look at strategic metals. They don't have bismuth on here, but copper is the next best thing. And so if we zoom out a little bit, since 1850, copper is now way undervalued relative to gold. It's fallen by a factor of 4. Now, some people will jump on and say, well, because gold is money and copper is not. Okay, now entertain that thought for a moment. In 1850 to 2020, we're talking about 170 years. Copper has fallen by a factor of 4 relative to gold. You could buy 4 times more copper today with your ounce of gold than you could in 1850, right? Think about that time. The Civil War, the Industrial Revolution was just beginning. Now you can buy 4 times more copper. Now picture yourself 170 years from now, right? Maybe you're living on Mars at the time, and now you can buy 16 times more gold than Abraham Lincoln could with his $20 gold coin, right? With the same 1 ounce of gold, now you can buy 16 times more copper. Now go 150 more years into the future. I think in South Park they did an episode where Cartman froze himself for 500 years, right? Think about how much copper you could buy with that ounce of gold. Does that make sense to you? It doesn't take that many hundreds of years before that ounce of gold now buys the entire world supply of copper, right? It'll probably buy all of the copper in the solar system, even if we travel that far, if this trend continues, right? Obviously, it cannot continue exponentially indefinitely, right? So history shows that it actually forms a sine wave if you go back far enough, right? There was a time in the Roman Empire when copper was worth almost as much as gold, and at some point this trend will probably, I wouldn't be surprised if this has already hit bottom, right? Right now copper is rising relative to gold, right? It's not suffering the correction this time around, right? We could very well be at peak gold. We're already past it, right? Now it gets even better with bismuth, actually. I'll let you look up the price. Here's another one that I like. gold stocks relative to gold. Let's see how far this goes out. Actually, it's I thought I saw one that went out even further. Okay. But right now, gold stocks are going for about... I thought I saw one that went all the way out to the 1800s. There we go, 1940. So historically, there was a set ratio, right? Every 25 grams of gold bought you a baron's mining share. Now, in the 1970s, gold was artificially held low, and so people were paying a huge premium relative to gold ounces. Here's how I like to think about it. Imagine there's a machine that prints money, right? Brrr. And you got to invest some money into that machine. Well, right now that money printer is going for a discount, right? Either that or perhaps the money itself is being overvalued, right? i.e. gold is being overvalued, right? I'll let you think about that. Give that some thought. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.